Good morning. I see you guys coming in. There's a couple of people that look like they're having a little bit of difficulty coming in. Good morning. As you come in, if you'd be so kind to put in the chat what district or organization you're representing, and will you also add your role? That may give us a little bit better idea of how to tailor the presentation to what may be of most interest to you. Right. Welcome. All right, great. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Let me introduce myself. My name is Redisha Young Willingham, and I am with the state support team representing Region 11. So I have the Central Ohio region, Franklin County, and some surrounding counties as well. And today we're going to be presenting on the Elanco fundamentals of animal science, the veterinarian, medical, and the principles of small engine. Today, we're going to have Emma Stanton as well as David Cambray with ICEV presenting, and I'd like them to go ahead and introduce themselves and tell you a little bit about them.
Good morning, all. My name's David Cambry. I'm a former ag teacher and moved over in this role about 2 years ago. I just help with PD and different things in the state of Ohio and across the nation. And so I'm going to turn it over to Emma, and then we're going to get this party started.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Emma Stanton. I see a couple of familiar names here in the Zoom meeting. But I am the territory manager that represents ICEV in the state of Ohio. So definitely reach out to me if you have any follow-up questions after this meeting. I pulled David in because he is an ag science expert, and I thought it would be a great way to kind of walk through these certification offerings and what we really do in the state of Ohio to move ag science further. So thanks for joining us today, David, and thanks for everybody for being here.
Great. And the session is going to be kind of really informal, and they'll present. But if you have any questions, you can go ahead and put them in the chat as well as unmute yourself. And I'm going to turn it over to Emma and allow her to begin the presentation.
All right. Well, David, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen if you want to chat through.
So while she's getting that pulled up, if you can type in the chat what your familiarity with ICEV is, if you've heard of these certifications or anything, and then we'll be able to better assist you with everything going on. And so, Emma, would you like to lead, or would you like me to lead?
You know what, David, why don't you go ahead and talk? I'll ban a white for you over here.
Perfect. So, Emma, if you can go to the main page for ICEV, not logged in, to be able to show them just the certifications in general on the Ohio landing page.
Yeah, that's what I got pulled up here.
David, would you like me to go ahead and have you do the presentation, or is it fine if you and Emma work together? I can do either way.
We'll work together.
Okay, great. Thank you.
We're like yin and yang.
I like it.
Present all the time. So this is our page here. I actually already went directly to it, but it's very easy to find on our website. I'll scroll down here. David.
And then Emma, on my screen, it's not showing that you changed from my courses.
Hmm,
I might have a little slow internet though.
my apologies. Let me stop the
But
share.
I would say, but on there, on that Ohio landing page, it's going to have all the approved industry-based certifications and their point value in regards to school performance scores. You'll see that majority of them are 6 points, and so on there you'll see that today we're going to talk about the fundamentals of animal science, the veterinary medical applications, and EETC. And the small engines technology one. And so that one's 2 points. And so if you look on here, one that we're going to dive into today is that Elanco vet med applications. We're going to dive into all of them, but we're going to particularly showcase the Elanco vet med applications. And when you click on that one, it's going to have where you can request information, you can schedule a demo with us. But if you keep on scrolling down at the bottom, they're going to have the industry standards. And so we partnered with Elanco, and so we're like their educational arm and we're the testing platform. And so Elanco and us got together, we sat down and we met with them, and they said these are the important things that they are looking for in regards to people coming into their workforce and people coming to within the vet science workforce. And so when you go in there, it's going to be weighted in different percentages to the different standards. And so on there, you'll see all of those different standards. You can see this for each one of our certifications that we're the testing platform for. And again, we're the testing platform for them, but these are the credentialing agency certifications that we just host on our platform and help prepare for as well. So you'll be able to look at that on the Ohio State landing page. So if you click state resources and then click on the state of Ohio, you'll be able to click on there, and that'll give you all kind of information about Ohio and ICEV, and it's going to be updated constantly as they keep on adding more and more additional courses. Emma, if you want to go ahead and take that link and you can throw it in the chat, and then it's also going to be on the website that you got the Zoom link in today at the bottom. It does have the link to this as well. So make sure that you can look at either one of those points to be able to see it and to learn a little bit more about ICEV. Please, 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 please ask questions today. We want to be able to answer as many questions as you would like to ask. They had said, it's a very informal meeting today. We're going to show you the basics, show you everything, and show you what it's capable of. But if you want to dive a little bit deeper, schedule a meeting with Emma, schedule a meeting with our team, and we'll be able to go further from there. But Emma, if you want to go ahead and log in. And then if you have any questions that come to mind, please stop, throw them in the chat, put them in the unmute yourself. And so now we're going to add the course for the Elanco Vet Med applications course. And so just a quick overview. If you look on here, you're going to have where it has different course subject areas. And so in those course subject areas, it's going to cover all kind of different CTE course pathways, different certifications that align to those, but particularly we're talking about agricultural science today. And then if you look in there, you'll see a course playlist that breaks down all of the courses that we have to offer. That you'll see some are aligned to Ohio's standards. And these are going to be full-fledged courses, 150-hour courses. And then if you go through those, and then we're constantly adding to that. But if you go back up, you can go to, you'll see that it's going to have subject area playlist, judging leadership playlist, testing certifications, and prep content for other certifications. So ones that we're the testing platform for is going to be under the other one's going to be prep content for others. And so that'll be other ones that we're not the testing platform for. But on here, we're going to go down, we're going to see where it says Elanco Vet Med applications, and we're going to hit select playlist. After that, we're going to go up to the top. We're going to give you the name of it, and then just say like first hour after it, or AP or whatever you would like to add on there. And then we're going to add course and save and exit. So while she's getting that course added, our PD is free. It's included with your subscription. We don't charge any additional for PD. And then you also have where your teachers can get certified in these credentials for free. And that's something that allows them to get a sneak peek into what it's all about and make sure that they can be able to do a training to be able to get certified in it. Even though it's not necessarily a requirement per y'all state law. In Louisiana, that's where I'm from. They have to be certified in the credential that they teach, but it adds that validity for that student of, hey, if my teacher has that certification, I'm doing good as well if I can get it as well. So then we're going to go into this course and we're going to hit view, or we're going to click on it either way. It'll pull up. And so after we pull it up, on the right, it's going to have your pacing guide, your proctoring guidelines, accommodations requests. And on here, you'll see that it's going to cover the objectives and the unit name. But then if you go look at each lesson plan for the certifications, they're going to have days of teaching on those. And then you will also see in the non-certification playlist, it'll have the days of the teaching put onto that pacing guide as well. And so they also have an accommodations request form. We'll talk about that a little bit later to make sure that we don't get into the weeds of everything just so far. And then you can invite students just like you can into a Google Classroom. If y'all have SLTs that you have to do within your districts, this will help to give you some baseline data. As it has a pretest that goes with the certification. And then it'll give you a certification report on the industry standards that they're weak at and what they can improve upon so that they can customize and scaffold the curriculum the way it needs to be for the students. So first thing we're going to look at is that first unit, the strategies for success. So we're going to hit view onto that one. And then after we do that, you will see at the top that it's going to have a teacher video. And so it'll have a teacher video, it'll have a student video, and then it's going to have a PowerPoint. That PowerPoint is a good PowerPoint for the teacher to go through, as well as any admin, all the students together with the teacher. And so once that pulls up, you'll be able to go ahead and click on and hit next. And so it'll have where it's going to tell you that they have a pre-test option available. It's going to say that it's going to be a 100-question test pulled from a 200-question bank. It's going to go over the different standards that it covers. And then it's going to give you example questions. So Emma, if you keep on going until you see an example question, those are your percentages, and that will be how you would want to spend your time. But if you come right here, has anybody heard of the word key concept association? Our first group didn't. So I'm going to offer up the same prize as I did last time. Now, the State Department, I can't send you boot-in because you were in the last group. So we can't send you boot-in this time. So on there, I want you to look at the questions on the left and on the right, and I want you to tell me what the key concept is. And again, some smoked boudin authentically made in Louisiana is on the line. So if you're sleeping, you might want to wake up.
David, what is boudin? I should have asked this in the last session, but I am not familiar with this sort of dessert, or what is it here?
So it's kind of like rice dressing put in sausage, and then it's smoked. But it's the best thing since sliced bread. So
Okay.
we'll send it to whoever wins the boudin. And so I did see somebody said pet obesity. That would be for the answer choice. But if you look at so pet obesity would be a big one, and then also that's going to cover all of those concepts under pet obesity. So on the left and the right, they're talking about diabetes, they're talking about joint disease, respiratory problems, that's all caused by pet obesity. So you need to make sure that you're covering that key concept of pet obesity. And then if we go on to the next question that they have, it'll do the same type of concept where on the left, it's going to talk about a concept, and on the right, it's going to talk about the same concept, but it won't be worded the same. We don't want to throw anybody off and not have you set up for success on that. I also saw how many times can a student take the final certification test. So they can take the prep materials unlimited amount of times, but when it comes to the actual certification exam, you have to pay for a voucher. We'll go over the cost later. But each time that you sit for the actual credential exam, not the pretest, not any of the practice exams, the reviews, all that, just the exam itself, you will get one attempt per voucher. Doesn't mean you can't have another attempt. And again, it just depends on, again, I'm from Louisiana, so I don't want to speak for anything in y'all state. If there's any specific state requirements or district requirements that y'all have, so those will trump. But Emma can be able to assist with that. And so with that, they can take it multiple times if allowed by y'all state and allowed by the district. But it'd just be an additional cost of the voucher. But that's where we're going to show you that if they follow the materials that we go over today, they'll be good as gold for the certification with it. And so that they would have the best chance to be able to have great success. It just would depend on, then when it came down to the test. And so I hope that answered that question. If it didn't, please pop back in the chat and we'll be able to address it further. If you go back, Emma, to where you can see all the units. So on here, you're going to see all the units. And so I want to go on to the one that says Vet Med Applications blood samples or vital signs. We do vital signs. So something that we take big pride in our company is that we have, we're a digital media based company. So we originally started with VHS, then went to DVD, then went online. And so this is going to bring the experts to the classroom, and they're actually going to go into that facility where you might not be able to go to a facility like this all the time, but you're going to be able to gain that experience through watching this video and then through doing simulations, and then potentially, depending upon a lot of different scenarios, you could actually go out and do this within, partnering up with a vet and making sure that you're taking care of your liability issues and anything like that with that. And then maybe you have something that you can utilize with simulations as well. That way they'll be good at this task and be able to go, work within the vet industry where there's a critical shortage within large animal vets, vet techs, vet assistants, animal handlers, farmers, ranchers, all those different, there's a ton of different careers that they can go into. And so this is going to go over that exercise. It's going to go over how they can be able to do it. It's also going to have career interviews. And so Emma, if you want to scroll up just a little bit, they have the career interviews. And so what's the number one question that a student asks the first time that they learn a new concept? Anybody want to unmute or go into the chat? I know it's early. I will not give Boudin for this time. Last time you'll get the Boudin. This one, you will not. But you will get bragging rights. And if you're competitive, when will I use this? Adam, you are the winner of bragging rights. Good job, Adam. So it's when will I use this? Why am I learning this? And so these individuals will break it down in a level that you'll see. They'll be from a wide variety of backgrounds, wide variety of ethnicities, genders, etc. That way you'll be able to have, each student will be able to have a connection with the different career interviews. It's a good reflection piece for the students to be able to see on there. And then you see below it has a transcript that follows it word for word. So this adds some additional reading parts that they can add in there as well. And then also we have a feature that goes into some of our newer curriculum and updated curriculum. This is updated as well, but we're working on, we have about 40% that have an embedded screen reader and embedded translator. But if you wanted to translate this for any English as a second language or ELL students, you would be able to add the Google Chrome extension, and it would actually translate the closed caption into the native language of the individual. It won't change the actual, video into that native language, but it will convert all the entire page into there. That way you can be able to reach that student population as well. And then we go over that in multiple areas. And then the tutorials have a step-by-step instructions of how to add that extension, best practices as well. And so the tutorials are screen records of everything. And so y'all ever seen the commercial that like, it's so easy a caveman could do it? I'm the caveman. If I can do it, you can do it. And so if you go through the tutorials, go over everything we're going over today as well. And most of that will be for your teachers. But again, you can schedule online training anytime. Again, PD is free and getting teacher certified is free. We do have where you can sign up for a free teacher promo. And so if you just type in up at the top on Google, you can type in ICEV certification, teacher certification promo, and then it's going to pull up the certification giveaway. And then they can schedule a time with our team. They can get a time where they can go and learn about the certification in depth, and they can go ahead and get certified. And that way they know what to expect. They know where they're going from, and this will allow them to get their feet wet and understand, what the students are going to be facing whenever they do it. Anybody have any questions so far? I'm going to look in the chat. I just have my awesome individual of Adam who answered the question correct. Anybody got any questions? Again, whenever I was a teacher, I always like to have times to ask questions. So please don't be afraid to unmute yourself or to type anything in the chat. So if you go back, Emma, if you go back to that main page, so you'll have all of these units. You'll have that pre-test. So the way that I would strategize to work for any certification that we're the testing platform for is to do a pre-test, go through the materials. After you go through the materials, then there's a certification review lesson. They have 2 certification review tests at the bottom. And so you would want to make sure that you're having them do those reviews to make sure that you can see where they're at and then compare that to their pre-test data. And then they would be able to then sit for the credentialing exam. We do allow for 504 and IEP accommodations. We do not allow for removal of any answer choices on the credentialing exam. If you wanted to do that within your assessments, you would have to, on the local level in regards to the prep materials, you would have to go in and you could be able to customize those tests. But again, whenever they are taking the certification, they will not be privy to that one because it compromises the integrity of it. It is not a time test. It has to be done in one sitting, though. It typically takes about 65 minutes to complete the certification exam. And then also, they have some other accommodations, but you have to fill that out at least 48 hours prior. I always advise, if you know who those students are at the beginning of the year, it doesn't cost you anything to be able to put them in there. And then it'll just have it ready whenever they are going to be taking the certification exam. So I always advise, get that done as soon as possible, as early as possible. That way it's knocked out of the way, you're good to go. It doesn't have to ask, when you are taking the exam, because the moment that they put in there, if they put Jane Doe in the district, in the state, and the all the contacts and all that, the moment they submit that, our team goes in within 2 days and they update that information on there. But you'll be able to see this for the accommodations and modifications. And then we also have an accessibility statement in regards to just our platform in general. We do work with deaf and blind schools or deaf and visually impaired schools across the nation, and with different populations. So that's something that if you have any specific questions, reach out to Emma, reach out to our team, and we have particular individuals on our staff that will be able to address all of those questions and concerns on that. Which industry credentials does this align to? So this one will align to the vet med applications one. And so that is recognized on y'all's Ohio industry-based credential lists. And so you'll have the vet med applications. They have a animal science one, the Elanco animal science, and then the EETC small engine certification that are all recognized credentials by y'all's state that are within our testing platform. And then we also have certifications that were not testing platform that we help prepare for. How much time does it take to cover the material, semester or full year? So with that, is it on a block schedule or a 7-hour day? And then it would just depend upon the situation, the teacher, the students' backgrounds. There's 150 hours worth of materials, but you could be able to tailor down those units and harp on the key concepts. And those key concepts are within the Green Star assessments. And so if we go back to one of those lessons and we go into one of the units, so if we go into hospital practices, anything like that, if you go down below, you're going to see that they have instructional materials, which are all your printable, editable PDFs, and then your interactive assignments, which are all self-grading assignments. And then they have a Green Star assessment on there. That Green Star assessment, you have a link for the ODE credential reference. Yes, that we can be able to provide to you. And it's also on that Ohio link that we sent out in the chat. It will pull that up as well. And then also, if you look on the original page, the site that we're at, for the Zoom link, it'll have a link to this as well on there. But it's approved on multiple pathways in your state. And so it has all that information on the Ohio landing page that Emma just had pulled up. And if you have any particular questions that aren't covered in that, reach out to Emma, and Emma will provide her contact information at the end of this call. And she'll be able to send you some follow-up information about it as well. But at the bottom, they have that Green Star assessment. So back to those key concept association, making sure that you hit those key concepts, and then it'll self-grade itself. The students can be able to go in there and take this as many times as they would like. But I always advise do one to begin with and then do additional later on to make sure that they're not just guessing and guessing and guessing, because it's not going to help prepare them for the test if they just know the answers to the practice Green Star assessments, because we're a key concept association, not just regurgitating information. We want to make sure that students master the concepts. That way they're hitting those industry standards and able to move positively into their careers post-high school, because there is critical shortages within this industry. And we do have letters of support that are recognized within your state. So you can look at examples of employers that would be looking at this. And we can show you all the letters of support as well. Also, if you get 10 or more certification earners, we send you an aluminum placard, and it'll have the student's name on there. It will have so you'll have the student's name on there. You will have the school's name, the teacher name, and it'll be a big aluminum placard. The more students that you have get certified, the bigger it gets, and that's free. And you also have a certificate that comes with it as well that we'll send out. And those will come present to y'all at the school board meetings for the big aluminum placards. And those are just something that we want to make sure that a student that earns a certification is feeling like they're valued, and that they are able to be recognized and encourage career exploration with that. And then another thing is we have a platform that goes over how do I put my certification into my resume? How do I put it in my cover letter? Because I feel like a lot of times within that educational world, We do a really good job at getting student certifications, but what's that next level? How do we push to the next part? And that's under the Learning Center. And then under Learning Center and then Higher Certified at the bottom. It has that, and then there's also posters that are free on our platform as well that go over all kind of careers. They're tied to the certifications and they're tied to different courseworks as well. Just to encourage students to be able to push themselves to get certified, to understand why they're certified and understand how they can relate this information into business and industry. Does anybody have any questions? Also, thank you for sending that link in the chat. Anybody have any questions thus far? So Emma, I'm gonna turn it over to you. And if there's any questions, please type it in the chat. I have to go dip out. I have some other prior responsibilities. But Emma will take care of y'all. She's absolutely amazing. And thank you so much to the staff for allowing us to talk today and everything. And Emma's going to take care of y'all.
Thank you. Thank you, David. Before you leave, I just wanted to say thank you. You've done a wonderful job this morning. And before Emma starts, maybe you have a specific question in mind for yourself, but what was the reason that you joined this session? What did you want to walk away with? Maybe we can answer that question as Emma prepares to come, or if I need to do a little bit more digging to answer the question for you. If anybody wants to put in the chat or unmute and indicate what reason you joined today, and maybe we can make sure that you're leaving with everything that you need.
Great question.
Okay. We have students with disabilities that have expressed an interest in vet tech as part of their future plans. Will this industry recognized credential allow them direct employment? And the whole reason behind industry recognized credentials is that the department actually vets these credentials based on employers saying that they are of value to students and that they identify a level of exposure and to some degree competency for entry-level positions. So as we look into getting these credentials, what we hope is happening is that the students that are securing these employers are seeing these as valuable tools and identifying that students have demonstrated some level of school and knowledge of that particular career field and gives them an advantage in being hired or employable. Lindsay, I hope that answered your question. It's not really necessarily a guarantee, but the state goes through a vetting process to identify these credentials as valuable tools and skills identified and that are valuable to employers.
We also do provide on our website these letters of support that are from people in industry. So you can come and select a specific certification. Let's say this is the one here we're looking at, vet, the Elanco vet. What it says here. You can see these and kind of get an idea of which career opportunities would really value this certification post-graduation.
Okay. Well, if you have something
This is taken.
as Emma is presenting, go ahead and post it in the chat or, unmute. We'll have a little bit of time as this wraps up. Thank you.
So these are dozens and dozens of letters written from different people over the years. It'd be great context you as you're kind of sending your students off into the working world as well. I know there was mention of accommodations again here. I just wanted to review where you find that. When you create a course with ICEV, you really do want to support students that need accommodations. And it's really easily found with this green button in the upper right-hand corner. Proctoring guidelines, pacing guides, all of that is provided. So just to sort of summarize what it is that we offer here at ICEV and what David presented today. We are a CTE curriculum-based company, and we've been around over 30 years. And we have also incorporated certification into what we offer. So we host several actual certifying body exams on our site. And the ones that we showed you today, all of these are those that are approved in the state of Ohio. We have more, but these are the ones that were approved in Ohio specifically. And the majority of these are 6-point credentials, okay? These are all included in the ag science pathway. And so if you were to purchase curriculum for your school district or your campus, students would have access to our full ag science curriculum catalog. But in addition to that, the prep material to set students up for success on these exams, okay? So when we're in here, let's see, I can find the tab I'm on. And we go back to create a course. You're going to see hundreds of course options. This is going to simplify course planning and preparation for the teacher. So someone could walk straight out of industry into the classroom tomorrow and not really have to do too much prep to get ready for that first week and to plan ahead. Now, all of these courses are created with Ohio standards in mind, and we just recently updated them for 2023 standards. But the ones that lead to certification are listed under this tab as we reviewed earlier. And you'll see that these are all the animal science and agricultural science ones there. We also offer many other subjects. So if you are maybe a supervisor or a coordinator, you can see that we cover all these different areas of expertise for students that might be double dipping and doing ag science and health science, or maybe doing STEM and ag science. So there's quite a lot that you can choose from here, and our licenses only count once for each student. So if you were to be a student learning both transportation and ag science, you would only need one license to access both of these catalogs with ICEV. I want to review pricing because I know we're kind of coming down to the last couple of minutes here. And with ICEV, our pricing is for the curriculum is all based on the number of student licenses, volume-based pricing. So the more student licenses you order, the better the price can be per student. So it does vary, but at a minimum, if you order 25 student licenses for the year, that would cost $1,500 a baseline. Okay, so that would cover 25 students for the full 12 months, or if you have a rotating schedule, you can maybe reach 100 students if you have a different group of kids every quarter, or 50 different kids if you switch by semester and even incorporate a summer course as well. As we're talking about certifications, the exam test itself is $40 per student. So we call those certification vouchers. And once that's used, it's gone. But they do not expire after 12 months. So if you had any money that you were trying to spend in advance, you could always order like 100 certification vouchers, which can be used for any certification in the system. You can order them ahead of time, and you can use them over the next year or 2 or 3 years, and they will not expire on you. Whereas the curriculum is good for 12 months, and then you renew it every year. So I'd love to answer any questions that you guys have about pricing, if that's something that is of interest. I'll check the chat here to see if we have any other questions. All right. Well, what we are offering here is a whole CTE solution that takes the guesswork out of prep and planning and all the assessments that you would need to provide to students to really set them up for success. And I'm going to hover back around all of the different certifications that we prepare students for that are Ohio approved. We actually have a lot more than what we're just presenting on today. These are the two that were the main ones in our session, as well as principles of small engine technology. This is a 2-pointer, but the rest of these are 6-pointers, except for equine management, which is 4. All of these are approved. And if you were to buy 50 cert vouchers with ICEV, you could have students taking any one of these exams. And they could set up, you could set up unique courses for students to prepare for each of these separately. We have food safety and science, meat evaluation, the BASF plant science certification, Ducks Unlimited, ecology conservation management. This is actually the most popular one that we offer nationwide. And as we scroll down, you'll see EETC, both Elanco's, and then the equine management evaluation. So I'll pause here and see if there are any questions for us or for me at this time. And if not, that's okay too. We can always give you a little bit of time back in your morning.
Great. Emma, thanks. And also, she mentioned the EETC. That was a new credential that was added this previous year. So it may be a very well a popular one as well. And what I've added in the chat for you guys is the link for the remaining sessions and the sessions, as well as the website that'll have the recordings of these, as Melissa mentioned, probably later in the week, early next week. And what we've asked for is feedback as well. Each session, you can receive a certificate for your participation. Even if you don't want the certificate, please complete the feedback. It gives us an idea of whether or not we're answering your questions and meeting the field's needs. So I'll put that up here shortly. If you have any questions, go ahead and pop them in the chat, and we'll hold for just a little while longer, and then we will end today. Oh, let me take this back. And that has the website link that'll also have the resources that may give you a little bit more additional information as you consider credentialing. And then, like I said, today for the certificate, it is the code to the right is for the certificate, and then the one to the left will be for the entire day. So if you don't plan to attend any other sessions, please definitely provide us feedback. We'd like to make the sessions better and more informative and meet your need. And then this is our disclaimer in regards to IDEA. Again, I thank you for joining this session. And Emma provided her email address. I am also available if you need additional information. My email is on the website. Thank you today, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the remaining sessions for the day.
Thanks
Bye.
for having us.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thanks, Emma.